Danny Phantom was a show that was about keeping secrets as much as it was about fighting ghosts. In almost every episode, Danny had to worry about his secret of being a half-ghost boy affecting his life in one way or another. But Danny wasn't the only member of Team Phantom who was keeping a big secret. Sam was one of the more outspoken characters in the series, but if it wasn't for Tucker going over to her house after Danny ditched them one day, her friends might have never known that her family was filthy rich. But why was she keeping her wealth a secret, and how did Sam's family get their money in the first place? Honestly, Sam was really good at hiding the fact that she came from a very wealthy family in Danny Phantom, and it's probably because she didn't want her friends or anyone else to view her differently. As you know from watching Danny Phantom, Sam was a person who enjoyed anything with a gothic vibe to it, which is why it was so surprising when they introduced Sam's family and showed them as being very bright and happy looking. Other than that though, it seemed like fans weren't going to learn much about Sam's home life, considering that she never seemed to talk about it. Well, in the episode Attack of the Killer Garage Sale, all of that changed when they gave fans an official look at Sam's house. The only thing is, it was also Tucker's first look at Sam's house, even though the pair were best friends. In the episode, Danny was unexpectedly invited to go to a party hosted by the popular kids at Dash's house, and because of that, he denied Sam's offer to watch a movie at her house. In other words, he ditched his friends for a party. Sam did her best to not let that get to her too much and still invited Tucker over for the movie. When Tucker arrived though, he definitely wasn't expecting to walk up to a mansion, which is the only way to describe the size of Sam's house. Tucker was in shock, and so were viewers, to learn that Sam was actually filthy rich to the point where she even had a movie theater in her house. And no, not a movie room, but a full movie theater with a big screen and everything. But the shock doesn't stop there. When Sam explained how her family came to such a prosperous financial situation, I think Tucker was just about as surprised as I was watching it. Do you remember what she told him her family got rich from? According to Sam, her great-grandfather Izzy was a promising inventor whose creativity and intelligence earned him a ton of money. His most notable invention was a bit strange though, but when you consider some of the inventions and products that make people rich today, I guess it's not too bad. Great-grandpa Izzy was apparently the man who created and patented the machine that takes cellophane and wraps it around deli toothpicks. Because of that, he managed to make enough money to live a lavish life and then pass it down to not one, not two, but at least 3 generations to Sam. You see, the wealth that Izzy managed to make after inventing the deli toothpick wrapper was enough to support his own family, which included his daughter Ida, who was Sam's grandmother in the show. It's unclear though whether or not Ida worked or possibly even became an inventor like her father Izzy was, but because it's never mentioned, it feels safe to assume that most of the wealth that fans saw in the show came directly from Izzy, which means he had enough money for Ida to survive and live well before her passing it down to her son, Sam's father, Jeremy Manson. Then, as you saw in the show, it seems like the family would be leaving behind a pretty penny to Sam. I mean, based on their house alone, there is no way that Sam or her family would have to worry about money. Their place even had a full movie theater built into it that, up until Tucker and Danny found out about it, Sam was using all by herself. Or maybe with some of her family members, but based on the relationship that she had with her parents, I think the only person she'd sit next to was Ida. I'll get into that in a minute though, because I know what you're probably wondering. How can deli toothpick money equal a mansion and wealth that spans multiple generations? But it's not that weird when you think about some of the other real-world inventions that have made the creators super wealthy. The silliest of which has got to be the pet rock. The collectible toy, if you can call it that, was created by a man named Gary Dahl in 1975, and was basically just a rock, or multiple rocks, packaged in customized cardboard boxes. But these boxes would also have holes on the side of them, as if they came from a pet store, hence the name Pet Rock. This man literally sold rocks for $4 a piece, and within a year, he sold over 1 million of them. So if Pet Rocks can make a millionaire, then so can inventing the machine that wraps cellophane around toothpicks. The money that Sam's great-grandfather earned from the business went into providing a lavish lifestyle for Izzy's family. But what is really interesting, and has led to some unflattering theories about some of Sam's other family members, is the fact that the wealth came from Jeremy's side of the family rather than Sam's mom. Can you guess where some fans have gone with this? There's a fan theory out there that suggests that Sam's mother, Pamela, only married Jeremy because she discovered that he was wealthy. Now, this isn't a theory that necessarily meant to vilify Sam's mom, but because the known wealth in the family came from one side, it's hard not to speculate, especially when you think about how much Pamela pushed Sam to be like her in the show. Even though they only appear in a handful of episodes, Sam's parents were constantly trying to get her to dress a certain way, which typically meant bright and colorful. While this might just indicate that her parents were controlling, odds are it's the main reason why Sam seemed to dislike them so much. But some fans theorize that Sam's relationship with her mother was so strained because Pamela had her eyes focused on the dollar signs rather than actually raising her daughter to be a successful person. Essentially, she just wanted Sam to be pretty enough to feel happy and to be able to marry into a good household just like she did. At least, that's if the theory is true. But there's no real evidence that suggests that Pam was essentially a gold digger. Now, if the Manson family's wealth was enough to sustain them for multiple generations, why would Sam take the money rather than distance herself from it and her family that she seemed to dislike so much? Well, Sam actually had a really strong connection with one person in her family, her grandmother, and in a way, this might have made Sam the perfect heir to the family fortune. You see, one of the big takeaways from the times that fans got to see Sam's family on screen was that the only person the young goth teen resonated with was her grandmother Ida. And this could be for a bunch of reasons. For starters, Ida wasn't like Sam's parents, who were constantly shown trying to push their lifestyle onto Sam. Whether it be trying to force Sam to dress a certain way, or even trying to stop her from hanging out with her friends, both of Sam's parents were super controlling. Or at least, they tried to be. Sam wouldn't let them control her though, and showed that she would always stay true to who she was in her heart, rather than what others wanted her to be. This is actually an ideal that she may have even learned from her grandmother Ida. In the episode Control Freaks, as Sam was sneaking out of her window to go save Danny, she was confronted by Ida, who revealed that she too used to have a rebellious side. Fans even got a glimpse at a picture of Ida from her younger years. The photo showed Ida sitting on a scooter wearing clothing that resembled something that Sam definitely would have worn if she lived in that era. This was a great way to show that Ida was always going to be the most supportive person in Sam's family because she was also a free spirit, unlike Sam's parents, who seemed to be carbon copies of every giga-rich parent stereotype out there. They just wanted everything to be happy and bright because the world was good for them, and they had the money. But they didn't realize that Sam was happy the way she was rather than being manipulated into dressing and acting the way they wanted her to. That's something that Ida understood from the core of her being, and it's why she was so supportive of Sam and able to build up such a strong connection with her granddaughter. On top of that, Sam would make a perfect heir to a fortune because she simply was a really intelligent character, and it wasn't likely that she would go and waste all of that generational wealth. The creators of Danny Phantom already showed that Sam wouldn't go around flaunting all of her money, otherwise she would have done so already. Instead, she understood that wealth can change the way people think of you, which is why she kept her fortune a secret from even her closest friends. Sam wanted Danny and Tucker to like her for who she was and not for her money. Not to mention, Sam's also the type of character that would likely use any wealth that she had to help others rather than spend it on herself. She was an environmentally conscious character and also believed in eating healthy. So if she was going to spend her money randomly, then it would probably be on something important and helpful. Maybe she and Danny will end up owning their own ghost hunting firm that you just know her parents would hate. I'd totally watch that show though. I'm curious to hear though, now that you know where the wealth came from, what do you think Sam would do when she inevitably inherits her great-grandfather's deli toothpick fortune? Be sure to let me know in the comments below.